All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 2 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. If you'd like to send me an email, my email address is xzone@classic1220.ca. My guest this hour is Mo Miller, and he's with the Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. And we've had the pleasure of having Mo with us before. And Mo, welcome back to the X Zone.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Rob.
Yeah, before we get going into the meat and bones of the interview, have you ever heard about people being wrongly declared dead?
No, I have not.
Okay.
That's a new thing apparently?
Yeah, this is a news headline from one of the papers, People's Magazine. Woman wrongly declared dead for over 15 years is still fighting to prove her existence.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it says here that a Missouri woman is still fighting to prove she's alive after she was wrongfully declared dead more than 15 years ago. When she was in college, Madeline Michelle Carthen had been anticipating taking part in the Webster University's International Intern Exchange Program in the summer of 2007. But she was never able to attend or even graduate after she was denied financial aid when her Social Security number suddenly listed her as deceased. And there's other stories where doctors have pronounced their patients deceased, and in one case that we checked out, the doctor declared the patient dead. The patient gets to the funeral home, and lo and behold, the funeral director realizes that this person is not dead, but very much alive. So
I think that is why before, like if you're cremated, before they have to wait 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I think that might be why, because all of a sudden, if you sit up and you go, I'm not dead, you know.
Yeah, do you remember in the olden days they used to put a bell outside of the grave, so that if the person was in fact alive, they came alive and they'd ring the bell, and and the gravekeeper would come and get them. Wow. Here we are in the year 2024, and you'd think by now they'd be able to tell if a person is alive or dead.
I agree.
Yeah. So, Mo, what's new with you and everything that's going on in South Dakota these days when it comes to the paranormal?
Well, next weekend we're doing a paranormal, conference or a group of investigations with a lady from California. Her name is Marie Mason.
Right.
It's going to be for 3 days, and we're going to be investigating 6 different places in Deadwood, South Dakota. It's going to culminate with Mount Moriah Cemetery.
Ooh.
That's their equivalent of Boot Hill. And Wild Bill Hickok's buried up there. Seth Bullock is buried up there. Calamity Jane and a host of others.
Have you gone there before and done investigations with your group?
No, I have never. I know where the cemetery is, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
we've never actually done an outdoor investigation at the cemetery. So this will be a first for us.
Can you do me a favor after you've done this this weekend? Get a hold of me and we'll have you on and we'll discuss what you guys found.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, because I know our listeners love it when you come on the show, and this is what we're all about: is getting these information segments out there so that people who, well, let me put it to you this way: there are still people out there, and I know you know this for a fact, Laura, that have had paranormal experiences, but they're still afraid to talk about it. And when they hear people like you on the show who, and your group that has been doing a number of investigations over the years, they realize that they're not alone. And,
Exactly.
so hats off to you and the other great paranormal investigators out there, because not only are you paranormal investigators, but something else that is very important is you're actually historians.
Exactly. One of the neat things for our group specifically is out here in the Black Hills. It's relatively new history,
Mm-hmm.
as far as history goes. But we get to go into a lot of places that your normal John Q. public doesn't get to go into. Like we get to go to attics and basements of places that people can frequent,
Uh-huh.
but they just go on into the main floor kind of thing. Whereas, as investigators, we get to go up and down and all around in these places, which a lot of people don't do. And there's a lot of historical stuff buried, in the tops,
Mm-hmm.
in the attics, in the basements and stuff that normal people don't get to see.
Well, I believe one of the reasons, Mo, is that your group, as well as other groups out there, number one, they're responsible. Number two,
Right.
they're ethical. Number three, they're respectful. And number four, you're professional.
Right.
So I wouldn't let just anybody come into our home or into our offices and studios to, just to go around looking for the paranormal, unless,
Ex-
they were like you guys and the other groups that we have here on the show.
Right. And we just got a call last week from a lady in Oneida, South Dakota. That's on the eastern side of the state. Oneida is a very small town.
Yes.
They want us to investigate the courthouse there because they're renovating it, and now all of a sudden they're seeing things, they're hearing stuff, and all kinds of things. And she looked for people on the eastern side of the state, which there aren't any anymore. There's only us apparently. So she called us, contacted us, reached out to us,
Right.
whatever you want to call it. And I brought it to the team. We haven't set a date or anything yet, but it's got to be this summer because the winters around here are super harsh.
Tell me something. How haunted is South Dakota?
The places that we've been, I don't want to. It's like, for instance, Deadwood, Belfouche, the northern part of the Black Hills. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
there's like a pall almost over that portion of the hills. There's so much, because all the history was relatively recent and it happened really, really quick.
Okay.
Just about every single place in Deadwood, we've always come away with something. We've never been, we haven't been able to debunk everything, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it certainly does. It certainly does. How do you prepare for an investigation? Let's say somebody calls you. Let's say I was living in South Dakota, where you live, in Rapid City, and I called you up and I said, Mo, I've heard about you guys, and something strange is going on in our home. We see shadow people. The animals are acting very strange, and I think there's something going on here. What steps do you take before you actually, number one, consider doing the investigation, and number two, actually doing the investigation?
Well, first thing we'll do, we're going to reach out to the client, and they normally they will email us or whatnot, and then we'll set up a time. We'll call them, and we'll talk to them and ask them, what is going on. The second thing we do is we will do a preliminary walkthrough, which lasts about an hour, and that's, we haven't decided on investigating or anything yet,
Right.
but we'll go through and we'll get a lay of the land, so to speak. And I'll look specifically at the books they read and stuff like that too, because, a lot of people automatically go to the dark side if something goes bump in the night. It's a demon and all this happy horse caca. So you look at,
Hold on here. Hold on here. Horse caca.
Well,
I love it, Mo. I love it.
I was trying to be clean.
You are.
But yeah, we'll do a walkthrough and then we'll let them explain to us what claims, what their claims are, where they're happening, and then we'll sit down with the potential clients and we'll decide whether or not an investigation is warranted, if we can't debunk it on the spot kind of thing.
Now, when you decide to go forward with the investigation, is there a questionnaire that you give to the clients?
Way back when we first started, we used to. We don't do that anymore because it was getting to the point where it's basically cookie cutter.
Yeah.
With what they write down. But if you sit down and you talk to them, then you get into the meat and potatoes of the stuff too.
And how long does the interview process take before you and your team make a decision that yes, we're going to go?
A walkthrough usually lasts about an hour or so, because we'll get like I said, we'll talk to the clients, we'll get a lay of the land and stuff. And an investigation, and depending on what's going on, if there's nothing happening at all, it might be 5 hours, let's say. It can go up to like 9 or 10, depending on what's going on, of course.
A lot of work goes into it, and then I would imagine even after you do the investigation and you collect all this data, you have to go through it and correlate the data.
People don't realize this. Like what you see on TV, like you watch Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or whatnot, what you're seeing is a highlight reel for one.
Right.
You're not seeing, for instance, like I have on, my personal equipment, I have 6 recorders. Let's say I put them out, all of them, right?
Yeah.
And it's a 6-hour investigation. 6 times 6 is 36.
All right, Mo. We're going to have to hold on to 36 because I have to take my commercial break. So please stand by. Exonation. My guest this hour is Maurice Miller, and we're talking about paranormal investigations, focusing on South Dakota. He is with the Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Their website is blackhillsparanormal.com, and Mo and I will be back on the other side of this break, right here from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, on the X Zone Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and, of course, streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
Carry me over, lead me home to my town. Tell me when that breeze is blowing, taking me home to my town. There's a love that just bleeds in my heart. In my childhood days, we went our different ways, but you knew that we'd never part.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone, and that was Glass Tiger, a good Canadian band, which means I have fulfilled my obligations to CanCon by playing one Canadian song every hour. Mo Miller is our special guest, and Mo is with the Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Their website is blackhillsparanormal.com, and they are based in South Dakota. All right, before we went to the break, we were talking about your post-investigation and how you have to go through 36 hours of recorded material after the investigation, and that's only part of what you do.
Right, and that would be only me. There's 7 other people. Depending on the size of the venue, we might have all 7 of us. And each person has 2 or 3 recorders that they're going to stick out.
My goodness.
Yeah, so there's a ton, and then we have static IR cameras that we put out if it's warranted, and there's 8 of those, and we'll run them the whole time. So you'll have 6 hours, 6 hours, let's say, on each camera. So that's 48 hours.
What people don't realize is that you and your team members buy your own equipment.
Yes.
And that
Yes,
I would imagine that's quite costly.
Very much so. Thank goodness our husbands and wives are very supportive of what we do, because if they weren't, we'd be really hard pressed trying to get some of the equipment.
You mentioned something about an IR.
Yes.
What is that?
We have. That's infrared. So
I
you
see.
can see those are cameras that we'll put out, and you can see in the dark with those. If you're watching the screen.
Oh, right. Would that be like night vision?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, after all the years you've been doing the investigations, Mo, what was it that got you so interested in it that you had to take the plunge and become an investigator?
It started way back when I was a youngster. My mother, God rest her soul, and my grandmother were very much into dowsing and things of that nature, and Ouija boards and all this kind of stuff. Of course, when you're a young kid, you're too busy running around with your friends. I was still living at home, but I'd gotten a little bit older, 14 or 15, and they're still doing what they do. And I was kind of thinking to myself, is this part of the human condition, or is there more to it? And then I started reading case studies. And I'm not talking R.L. Stein goosebump kind of scary books, but actual case studies. And it's kind of like an onion. If you peel the layers back, all the claims from around the world boil down to the same exact stuff. People see things, they hear things, they experience stuff. And that basically got me into this, because I was like, there's got to be something more to it.
You mentioned Ouija boards. Have you seen the new toy Ouija board that Fisher-Price put out?
No, I have not.
It's like the old See and Say, where you pull the string, and
right.
It's like that. And I'm trying to
really.
I'll send you the information. I can't understand why any toy company would want to make a toy Ouija board for kids.
Right. Well, I do know with the Ouija boards, what was it? Milton Bradley made them. I can't remember.
Yeah, Parker Brothers, yes, that's right.
That made them, and I personally own 2. I have a regular. I don't know who makes them now, but a regular Ouija board, and then I have a witch board that's same concept, exact same thing, just looks a little different. The board's textured, and that one doesn't work really well because like I said, the board is textured. So the planchette, or whatever you put your fingers on, whatever you call it, I think it's planchette. It doesn't scoot along very well at all.
Yeah, I'm sorry for kind of going off track of the how you people conduct and finish your investigations, but I just had to tell you that because I find it, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, what are we trying to do to our kids?
I of course I call a lot of our equipment toys, but they're not toys. The neat thing about our team is everybody, we have team equipment, and everybody has their own equipment also.
Right.
And one of the people, Danny, she's a psychic medium. She's on our team, but she has something called an envoy, which is kind of like, it's almost like a digital Ouija board. Almost, but it talks in sentences and things. Like it picks up stuff and then it converts it into sentences. It's like a necrometer or a necrophonic, which we have too.
Well, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got all this information. It takes hours upon hours.
Right.
For each one of you to do your due diligence with the recordings
Right.
and the data, and then I would imagine you get all together and share the information and come up with a final report.
Yeah, what we do is we give it about a week,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for everybody to go over their individual stuff, and then we all get together, and then things that you think are relevant that you captured,
Right.
you bring it to the team, and we basically you vote yay or nay, like that's good or no, that somebody burped or whatever, and then once again, I'm keeping it clean.
Yeah.
But after that, after we get everything together and we decide what we would show the client,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the following week, so it's about 2 weeks, give or take, we'll set up a time with the client to go over like a reveal, and that even goes if we didn't capture anything. We'll still sit down with them and say, hey, we were there a very small snapshot in time, and nothing happened, or
Mm-hmm.
all proverbial hell broke loose.
Right. Has there ever been a time when you've reviewed your data and something has just blown you away?
Yes, as a matter of fact, on our Facebook page, if you go to our photos, we captured a photo of a shadow person, and you see the clients. They're sitting on a couch and they're blurred because they saw it too, and they're getting the hell out of Dodge, for a lack of better terms. They're jumping off the couch, and you see this thing standing in the corner.
Hmm.
It's really, really kind of cool for us, and it's really eye-opening for other people that kind of don't believe.
Is the shadow person a new phenomena?
I don't think so. People misconstrue them. They automatically think because it's a shadow person that it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's going to be evil. They're like this particular shadow person we caught
Right.
at one time was an alive person. Came through because we captured that here in Rapid City.
Right.
Came through before Rapid City was a town or anything, and so they were in wagons and whatnot, and they camped out here in town. The next morning, the guy cannot find. It was a guy. He couldn't find his wife, so he gets up. He starts looking for her. He ran across some indigenous people who killed him,
Oh God.
and he was angry because even now, up to now,
Mm-hmm.
he still couldn't find his wife. And that's how he presented himself, was he would be a shadow and just scare the bejesus out of everybody.
Well, aren't all these apparitions, these ghosts, these spirits, these shadow people, aren't they all at one time humans, living, breathing?
What I think a lot are, but once in a while you'll run across something we call elementals.
Okay.
They have never been human, and they might be of the forest or of the mountains or whatever,
Right.
and they just they're there, and they've always been, and they always will be. And we happen to run across them because we're out, actively searching for stuff too.
Okay. So
Go, I'm sorry.
No, go on. Go on.
What I was going to say was, with those, and you usually can tell that if something hasn't been or wasn't human to begin with, because it doesn't really interact too much with you.
Okay.
It's kind of like you're chasing, like, I hate to use this, but you're chasing a ghost, basically. You're chasing it around, but it's not interacting with you in any way, shape, or form.
So how do you actually get the ghost or the spirit or whatever the entity is to actually interact with you?
Sometimes they don't want to. Sometimes it's kind of like in October's, we do something with Deadwood history, and we do it at the Adams House. It's one of the mansions in Deadwood.
Okay.
Right? And we've done that. We've done this every October for going on 12 years now. And there's definitely something, there's a presence in that old mansion. It's not going to hurt you. It doesn't, it's not going to hurt you. It doesn't do anything to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it'll interact with you. sometimes it's kind of like it's hiding or trying to hide, and you're chasing it around. So, what I guess what I'm trying to say with that is, you know, if it's an intelligent haunt versus a residual, an intelligent is one that's interacting with you, obviously.
Right.
But I apparently, they get bored or tired of communicating with you. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just refuse to.
I've often wondered why these spirits, ghosts, whatever these entities are, why they put up with the paratourism that is growing in leaps and bounds.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Because, like I could, if I was a ghost or a spook or what have you, it would be fun for the first couple times.
Yep.
Then it would get bored. I'd be like, okay, I'm done with this now.
You and I have to take our break at the bottom of the hour, my friend. Please stand by. Exo Nation, my guest this hour is Mo Miller, and he is with the Black Hills Paranormal Investigations in South Dakota. Now, if you'd like to visit their website, it's blackhillsparanormal.com, and on Facebook, Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Mo and I will be back after this brief message as we continue talking about the weird, the strange, the bizarre, the paranormal. After all, here in the X Zone, we're searching for answers, but we also demand the truth. And we'll be back as we continue from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, classic1220.ca. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
Okay, now I'm going to.
When I think of you, Scotia, there's a
Up on the bitter green she walked, the hills above the town echoed to her footsteps as soft as eider down, waiting for her master to kiss away her tears, waiting through the years. Bitter green they called her, walking in the sun, loving everyone that she met. Bitter green they called her, waiting in the sun, waiting for someone to take her hand. Some say he was a sailor who died away at sea. Some say he was a prisoner who never was set free.
Welcome back, everyone. Mo Miller's our special guest this hour. We're talking about paranormal investigations, and he is with the Black Hills Paranormal Investigations in South Dakota. Their website is blackhillsparanormal.com, and their Facebook page is Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Have you run into demons? Because a lot of paranormal investigators now are blaming everything on demonic entities,
And I think that's because that's what the public demands, because obviously a lot of these people, like the YouTube influencers, I guess, as well as the TV guys, if you don't have anything to show the people, you're not going to be on the air for, any time.
But isn't that taking credibility away from investigation groups like yours and others who are there for the real reason, not to sensationalize what they're doing?
Yes, I believe that wholeheartedly. And I don't think that I have ever ran into a demon. I'm sure there are people on our, on the team that would say otherwise, but I think I have ran across, of course, looking back over the years, I think I've ran across a couple angry spirits, kind of like the old guy when you were a kid, like, get out of my yard kind of guy.
Yeah.
But that's about as angry as it got. I didn't have anybody spitting pea soup or floating by, any of that weird kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've known a few demons in my day. Mind you, they were all before I got married, and they were usually in a bar. But,
Right.
ever since I got married, no more demons. Well, maybe one or twice. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So why do some of the investigators, curse, swear, yell at the demons or yell at the spirits, yell at the ghosts? Don't they realize that these at one time were people, and all they're doing is showing disrespect and how stupid they really are?
I once again, I agree with that. With exactly what you said. We don't on our
Hmm.
team. We don't provoke. That's
Right.
what that's called. You're provoking. You're trying to get a reaction, and they're hoping that they piss off whatever is
Right.
there enough that it does something.
Makes me.
But at the same time, it's kind of funny because when they do this, and then if they provoke enough and something does happen, then they run and scream and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, they got to watch out for that horse doo doo, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Now, what are the different types of hauntings?
What we've ran across, two of them that are really easy to explain are intelligent versus residual. An intelligent haunting would be, for instance, like if I go into a house or a
Hmm.
business and say, "Hey, my name is Mo," and all of a sudden it says, "Hey, my name's Bob. How are you doing?" kind of thing, right? Complete interaction. Residual haunts are going to happen at whether you are there or not.
Hmm.
That's where you get like noises and sounds like gunshots and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. That's just it's almost like a tape being replayed.
So it's like something caught in the electromagnetic
Right.
field within the residence or within the commercial establishment. Is that the kind
Right.
of hauntings there are in the old British castles?
I think so because a lot of the castles are by water sources.
Hmm.
Running water is a really good conductor of that stuff, and so are stones.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
And there was a movie, I think it was made in the late 60s, early 70s called The Stone Tape Theory. It was it's actually interesting.
We'll have to look that one up. It does sound
Yeah.
interesting. Um, has there ever been? What was it like the first time that you had a ghost or spirit encounter, one on
The
one?
very first time for me, I didn't believe what I was experiencing. I was like, there's no way. This cannot be. Because when I first got into it, I was going to debunk everything. Everything was going to be, easily explained away. But then we go to a place, we have flashlight interactions, we heard voices, we had things move that we weren't touching. It was kind of crazy.
Have you or any member of your team ever been physically assaulted by a spirit or a ghost?
Not, no, not that I can think of. As far as assaulting, like I said, Danny, she's on our team. She's a psychic medium and she does it for a living.
Hmm.
We did an event last summer in Buffalo, Wyoming. It's on the far side of Wyoming, on the west side.
Right.
It's right at the base of the Bighorn Mountains. Uh, and we were doing an old hotel there, and then the next morning we're getting ready to leave. Her face had changed. She had latched on to her, for lack of better terms, and wasn't excuse me, and wasn't letting her go. And her face was physically different. It was really weird.
Hmm.
And but doing what she does, she was able to get rid of it and come back to normal fairly quickly.
Speaking about attachments, a lot of people go to yard sales, to flea markets, and estate sales. What are they called?
Hmm.
Auctions. How can somebody be sure when they buy something that there isn't an attachment on that article that they buy and they unknowingly bring problems home with them?
I had heard that. I don't. If you go to an estate sale and you buy something, there is no guarantee that you're not going to have an attachment. Uh, and it's weird some of the stuff that things attach themselves to.
Hmm.
It might be a pillow or a particular spoon. It's goofy. It doesn't always have to be, oh, I bought this really cool old chair or this cool old bed or this dresser. It could be something very simple and mundane. But at the same time, not everything you get is going to be or have an attachment. How do you tell? I don't know. If nothing happens, I guess you don't have an attachment.
And if you do, you call up a credible paranormal investigation team, right?
Right. Exactly.
While we were on this last topic, and you mentioned something about you went to this place in Wyoming and
Yes.
there was activity and so on and so forth. How does it work then?
Yeah.
No. What I'm trying to get at is, how does it work then if no matter where you are doing an investigation, there is a spirit there, which is basically, as far as I understand, the essence of the person who was alive at one time, or could we call it their soul? And if that is so, what does this do to the concept or the possibility of reincarnation?
Exactly. I don't know. Well, the easiest way I explain to this when we give public presentations, when people ask me things like, like you just did, we know our hearts and our brains work on electrical conductivity.
Right.
Okay. So when you die, that little electrical charge goes somewhere. Does it stay in a little ball of consciousness for a spell? I don't know. Or does it go to the collective consciousness?
We don't know.
I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the reincarnation, I think that has to do. That's a hard one. I think, and this is just my own personal belief, not everybody is going to come back as a spirit, period. I don't know why that is. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And it doesn't have to be any kind of tragedy. But maybe you go somewhere, depending on your religion. So it depends on where, if you're Hindu or Muslim or Christian or Buddhist, where you go. But as far as reincarnation goes, I don't know if everybody goes through that either. Some people do, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's
but not everybody.
It's a perplexing question that raises a lot of other questions. You just think you've got one question answered, and that question opens up the door to so many other questions. I've got about a minute and a half before I have to take our final break, Mo. Tell us a little bit about the event that you're having again, and how can people find out more about it? And if there's anybody else listening in the South Dakota area, how can they get involved?
Marie Mason is the name of the lady. You can go to our Facebook page. We have a link that goes to her, so you can sign up for the investigations or what have you. Because, like I said, we're doing 6 places. We're doing the Fairmont Hotel, the Bullock, the Number 10 Saloon, the Adams House, Mount Moriah, and there's one more. Oh my goodness! Oh, the brothels. So we're hitting all the
Wait a sec. Hold on here. Here's the guy who talks about horse doo-doo, and you forgot about the brothels?
Right.
If that was me, that would be the first on the list. Hey, gang, brothels.
Yeah.
You and I have to take our break, so please stand by. And Exo Nation, if
Okay.
you'd like to sign up for that event that we were just talking to and check out the haunted brothels, go to their website. The Facebook page of Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. And for all the information on Mo and his team, visit their website at blackhillsparanormal.com. The X Chronicles newspaper is available free of charge with our compliments at www.xchronicles.net. That's XCHRONICLES.com. And if you're a community radio station, or if you have a low power FM radio station and you would like to carry the X Zone radio show, it's with our compliments. No charge whatsoever, no syndication fees. We give you the license because we want to help community radio. We want to help low power FM stations because They get the information out there. They're community based, and we love helping communities wherever we can. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we wrap up this edition of the X Zone with, this edition, this segment, because we've got another hour coming up after the short break at the top of the hour. You know, the website. Yeah, you got it. www.classicradio.ca, and to listen to us streaming, classicradio.ca, and we're coming to you on the X Zone Broadcast Network. Don't go away.
Anybody here see the noise, see the fear and commotion? I think we missed it. Anybody here see the love, see the hate, the emotion? Don't give me no hand-me-down shoes. Don't give me no hand-me-down love. Don't give me no hand-me-down world. I got one already. Anybody here?
Welcome back. That's Burton Cummings on the Guess Who Hand-Me-Down World, and the song that we played prior to that was Gordon Lightfoot and Bitter Green. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network, and your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. Mo Miller is our special guest, and he is with the Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Now, if you'd like to sign up for the investigation that they will be doing this weekend, I believe, go to their website, Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Their Facebook page, and you can get all the information there. They have a great Facebook page. They have photos that you can, see for yourself what these people are doing. For more information on their website, blackhillsparanormal.com. As always, Mo, great having you with us. We talked about the investigations that you do. And then that question about reincarnation just came to me.
That was a really good question, by the way.
Now, what about these haunted dolls we hear about? Now, I had a lady on the show last week who said that she went to a location, I believe it was in Florida. Was it Florida, Craig? Yeah, in Florida, where they had this doll. And you had to get permission to take the photo of the doll, because if you didn't, you'd be cursed.
That doll is Robert the Doll. I have heard about that guy before.
How does this work? How can a doll carry so much weight where people really believe that if they take the picture without his permission, they're cursed?
I think personally, I've never ran across the haunted doll. I don't understand how they have to ask permission, and he doesn't, he's not going to turn to them and say, okay, you're allowed to take a picture of me.
Yeah, I believe there was something about a light. I can't remember. There was something that they used. They asked the question, and if the light went red, it was yes, and if it went no, it was red, green and red. So is this part of mind over matter?
I think it is. I think people that sneak photos of the guy, right? And then they'll go home, and then their subconscious is working on it, like you're going to be cursed. So any kind of bad luck that they might have is going to be associated with that for however long it lasts for.
Mm-hmm. Have you and your investigation team ever come up to a situation where instead of a haunting, these people were cursed and they asked for your help?
We have actually ran into that a couple times. I don't know if they were cursed per se, mm-hmm. but they really had some kind of issue going on.
Wow.
And we couldn't determine if it was paranormal or not. There was nothing, we never found anything paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
And we suggested to these people that, maybe they should go see a doctor, because obviously we're not medical doctors of any sort. And one lady, this is years ago, she actually did.
Mm-hmm.
They adjusted the meds she was on, and she didn't have any problems after that. Conversely, we've had other people come to us. Oh, I'm seeing spiders or whatever crawling up the wall, blah, blah, blah. And that's all and I'll reach out to them, and that's all. It never goes any farther than that. They won't contact us back. They don't do anything. I don't know if they're being just poo-poo heads, for a lack of better terms, or they're just wacky. I don't know.
I hesitate to ask you this question because to me it's a very simple question. Why is seeing spiders on the wall a paranormal event?
I don't know, but people do. They seem to think that. We all have a spider or two in our house,
Yeah.
but what I'm assuming is they're seeing like multitudes of them at one time.
Well,
but see now if I went into their place,
mm-hmm.
I would be looking for like a nest of some sort.
Right.
Instead of just instantly jumping to, oh my gosh, you got so many flies or spiders and whatnot. It's just like people like in the wintertime around here, they'll say, oh, I got flies. Well, because it's a warm room. And the flies, apparently they have a food source. I don't know what they're eating, but there must be something.
I think I'm going to have to write a book about the strangest phenomena that is not really strange. How many years would you say that you and the members of your team have in total altogether?
Well, I've been doing it for 18.
Yeah.
18. We're probably, I'm thinking we have 50 years of experience probably between all of us.
Okay. I'm sure that you have all seen Ghostbusters, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan, actually.
Have you or your team ever come across ectoplasm?
No. We did have a lady, an elderly lady. This is years ago. We investigated her house. We came up with nothing, but in her bathroom, she found something on the wall. And she wanted us to come scrape it off and have it tested, which we can't afford that, obviously. Sure. But, I'm going to be sick. Anyway, it was basically a snot ball.
A snot ball?
Like she had sneezed and it flew across the room and stuck to the wall. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's a new one for me. Oh, boy. Snot ball.
Yeah, because people don't realize, sometimes we have to deal with wacky stuff, It's not all fun and games and you're running up and down the hallway in the dark terrified or anything. Sometimes, people have weird things happen to them and they want us to fix it.
Yeah, I know for a fact that there are many old houses that are damp and there's black mold.
Right.
And black mold actually, has spores that if inhaled can actually cause hallucinations.
Yes.
And you wouldn't believe the number of paranormal investigators that I've talked to this about, and they've had no idea what I'm talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
No, and that's the same kind of stuff that we look for. Obviously, we look for natural, natural phenomena like every, like if they say every evening at say 3:00 in the afternoon, my appliances in my kitchen go off. Mm-hmm. Well, why? Is there a power surge? You live by a power station,
right?
But we'll look for mold and stuff too. Like if they say they see things or they're hearing things, because we're looking for all kinds of natural occurring things. Obviously, first, anything that you're left with, scratching your head about. That's when we start to go, maybe there's something a little bit more to it.
I actually believe that ectoplasm is the slime that mold can create.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, another question for you. Yeah, Craig. Craig says I've got about 3.5 minutes left. Has there been an increase in paranormal reports and activity ever since the use of G4 and G5 have been implemented for the use of cell towers and cell communication, as well as the increase in microwave?
Not out here.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard like bigger cities
Yeah.
that they're seeing an upswing, and I don't know if I don't think it's an upswing in paranormal activity. I think people are assuming that. Well, and you might know this. If you have an area with high EMF,
Yeah.
for instance, like by your fuse box,
Mm-hmm.
some people react to that. Some people get rashes and hives. Some people hear and see things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that might be, they might live by a cell tower or something, and they might pick up on that stuff. I don't know.
Have you ever heard of paranormal investigators using animals? There's one lady who claims that she has a dog that has been trained to detect paranormal activity.
We don't use any of our animals because I think everybody on the team has animals.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard of people using them. I think that's kind of a mean thing because a poor defenseless animal doesn't know what you're going into.
That's true.
Whereas as a person, you do. And and maybe I don't doubt that animals can sense things that we can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt in my mind about that. But at the same time, exposing them to this stuff, that I think is kind of cruel and unusual, to be honest with you.
Mo, what would you suggest people do if, after listening to the show tonight, they believe that their home or their business has paranormal activity? Number one, if there is a spirit, should they face or confront the spirit, or should they call somebody like yourselves to come in and actually find out what's going on?
I always tell people, because they've asked me this before, be careful what you wish for. Like people want to put out an audio recorder or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You might pick up something that you're not ready to hear, or see.
Right.
So what I would suggest, depending on where they live,
Mm-hmm.
is look online for a reputable source, i.e., a paranormal investigative group, and you have to vet us. And I when I'm saying us, I mean like the entire paranormal community, because there are some people that are in it just because it's fun and they want to be scared and all this kind of horse caca.
And I'm sure they can do more damage than good.
Exactly.
Mo,
They're,
I'm sorry, quickly.
Oh, real quick, when I was going to say that, I was when you just said they do more damage than good, you have to think about this, because as a paranormal investigator, if I say to somebody, there's a demon in your house, they're probably going to believe me.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I'm lying, they're going to believe that.
Mo, time has come when I
good.
have to say so long to you, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us, Mo. Please send me that information to X-Zone Nation if you'd like to contact Mo Miller and his group. The name of their group is the Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Their website is blackhillsparanormal.com, and on Facebook, Black Hills Paranormal Investigations. Thanks again, Mo.
Thank you for having me.
Take care,
I
my
appreciate
friend.
it, Rob.
All right, we'll be back on the other side of this break as hour number 2 of tonight's edition of the X-Zone begins. And you're listening to the X-Zone on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca, all part of the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Don't go away.
See the long distance